Do you know when to use the verbs play, do, and go in a sports context? This may seem like a simple question, but the answer can be quite intricate and nuanced. In the English language, the verbs we use in relation to sports are not arbitrary, but rather, they follow certain patterns and collocations. Today, we're going to delve into the fascinating world of sports and verbs, focusing on three key verbs: play, do, and go. We typically use play for team sports like soccer or basketball, do for more individual activities like yoga or gymnastics, and go for activities ending in ing, such as swimming or biking. Understanding these patterns can enhance your English language skills, especially if you're a sports enthusiast. It's not just about knowing the rules of the game, but also mastering the language of the game. So, are you ready to kick off this exciting journey? Let's dive deeper into each of these verbs and their usage in sports. When you think of team games, the verb play often comes to mind. It's a word ingrained in our minds from childhood, whether we're talking about playing with toys or playing a game of soccer. But in the context of sports, play takes on a specific role. Let's take a closer look. Play is used predominantly with team sports or games. Picture a sunny afternoon, kids running in the park, kicking a soccer ball back and forth. They're playing soccer. Or think about a group of friends in a local court shooting hoops. They're playing basketball. Maybe it's a quiet scene at a park. Two individuals deep in thought, moving pieces on a board. They're playing chess. From baseball fields to golf courses, play is the verb we use. In fact, when it comes to team sports, we often use the words game or match to describe the event. A soccer game, a tennis match, a basketball game, these are all instances where individuals or teams come together to play. These games or matches can be won, lost, or even tied. And this last case is when the final score is equal, say 1-1 or 2-2. Now, where these games are played also brings some interesting language into play. A team can play a home game right at their own stadium or field. This is contrasted with an away game, where they must venture into the opposing team's territory. And when multiple teams come together, each playing many games to see who is the best, we have a tournament. So if you're watching a game and one team is winning in the middle, for example 3-1, we say that team has the lead. But don't lose hope just yet, because the other team can still make a comeback, scoring points from a losing position and potentially take the lead. So remember, when it comes to team games or sports, we play them. Whether it's a friendly game of soccer in the park or a high-stakes basketball match in the NBA, the verb play is your go-to word. Now, let's shift gears and talk about the verb do in sports. When we're talking about sports that are more individual in nature, we typically use the verb do. This is for activities where you're primarily working alone and not as part of a team. For example, you'd say, I do yoga. Yoga is an individual activity where you're focusing on your own body and mind. You wouldn't typically use play for yoga because it's not a game or a team sport. Similarly, if you're a gymnast, you would say, I do gymnastics. Here again, gymnastics is a sport where you're performing routines by yourself. It's not a game where you have opponents or teammates, so we use do instead of play. The same goes for martial arts. Whether you're practicing karate, judo, or taekwondo, you would say, I do martial arts. Even though martial arts can involve sparring with others, it's still considered an individual sport because the focus is on improving your own skills and techniques. Now let's talk about aerobics. Aerobics is a form of exercise that combines rhythmic aerobic exercise with stretching and strength training routines. If you're someone who enjoys aerobics, you would say, I do aerobics. And speaking of exercise, in general terms, we also use do when referring to exercise. For instance, I do exercise every morning. The same goes for weightlifting. If you're someone who lifts weights as part of your fitness routine, you would say, I do weightlifting. In all these examples, the common thread is that these are activities where you're working primarily by yourself. You're not competing directly against someone else, and you're not part of a team. You're focusing on your own performance, your own improvement, and that's why we use the verb do. So, for individual activities and exercises, think of the verb do. Whether you're doing yoga, doing gymnastics, doing martial arts, doing aerobics, doing exercise, or doing weightlifting, do is the verb you want to use. Ever thought of how we use the verb go in sports? Let's dive right into it. The verb go is particularly interesting as it's often coupled with activities that end in ing. Let's take a look at a few examples. You'll often hear phrases like go swimming, go biking, or go surfing. These are all activities that involve movement, and the verb go gives a sense of direction or action. It's not just confined to these water or land sports. You can also go rock climbing, go bowling, or even go fishing. Essentially, if an activity ends with the ing suffix, it's quite likely that go is the verb you'll want to use. Now let's talk about competitions. For sports that use go, we typically use the term competition. Think about a surfing competition or a rock climbing competition. These scenarios involve individuals or teams competing against each other in a specific activity. So, just as you would go surfing, you would also participate in a surfing competition. But there's an exception. For sports where you go from one place to another, like running, biking, or swimming, we often call the event a race. So you would go running in a running race, go biking in a biking race, or go swimming in a swimming race. It's pretty straightforward, isn't it? And there you have it. You've learned how to use the verb go in sports. Remember, go is usually used with activities that end in ing. And for sports that involve going from one place to another, we often refer to the event as a race. For other sports, we typically use the term competition. So the next time you're chatting about your weekend plans, you'll know to say, I'm going to go rock climbing, or I'm going to enter a surfing competition. And if you're feeling particularly energetic, you might even say, I'm going to go swimming in a race. So for activities ending in ing, we use the verb go. Let's keep the ball rolling, shall we? Let's summarize what we've learned about using play, do, and go in sports context. We've seen that play is typically used for team sports or games. So we say play soccer, play chess, or play golf. These are activities that involve a group of people, a sense of competition, and often a ball or some other object of play. On the other hand, do is used for more individual sports or exercises such as do yoga, do aerobics, or do martial arts. These are activities that you can do on your own, focusing on personal development and achievement. And then we have go, which is used for activities that end in ing, like go swimming, go biking, or go rock climbing. These are usually outdoor activities, often involving some sort of journey or exploration. We've also explored how we talk about sports events. For team sports, we use game or match, like a soccer game or a tennis match. For sports involving do and go, we typically use competition, like a gymnastics competition or a surfing competition. Unless it's a sport where you go from one place to another, then we call it a race. Remember, using the right verbs in sports context can make your English communication more effective and accurate. So, whether you're talking about playing a tennis match, doing a yoga session, or going for a swim, you'll know exactly how to express yourself. We've covered a lot of ground today, haven't we? We've dived deep into the world of sports collocations, exploring the various ways in which the verbs play, do, and go can be used. We've discovered that play is typically used for team sports like soccer or basketball. Do is preferred for more individual activities like yoga or martial arts. And go is the go-to verb for activities ending in ing, such as swimming or biking. We've also learned about the terminology used in sports, such as game, match, tournament, competition, and race. We've even touched upon some sports jargon like home game, away game, take the lead, and make a comeback. Remember, the key to mastering these collocations is practice. Try to incorporate these terms into your daily conversations. Next time you're talking about a basketball game, remember it's play, not do or go. Next time you're discussing a yoga session, remember it's do, not play or go. And if you're planning a fishing trip, you go fishing, not play or do. This might seem overwhelming at first, but with time and practice, it will become second nature. You'll soon find yourself using these collocations effortlessly, enhancing not just your vocabulary, but also your understanding of the English language. Thank you for joining us today. Keep practicing and you'll master the art of using the right verbs in sports context in no time.